Well, let us begin. Again, thank you all for being here. And again, are we so lucky to have such great weather? And it's sunny and beautiful. And it's November 1st. How did that happen? The summer has gone by so quickly, and we are right in the middle of our autumnal season. So let me begin by a quote by Gandhi that says, "The future depends on what we do in the present." And so the future is now and the future is today. And so we're excited to embrace it, prepare for it, and adapt to the changing world that we are all living in. So, again, welcome everyone. A special welcome to our interested community members, our Utah Clean City board members, Weber State University, University of Utah, Utah State University, our city mayors, Utah legislators, Utah fleet and industry leaders, and the press. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for joining us on celebrating the 13th annual Advanced Fuels Awareness Month and Governor's Declaration. I am Tammy Bostic. I'm the director of Utah Clean Cities. I don't know how to make that stop. So it's going to be a tiny bit windy. So Utah Clean Cities is a standalone nonprofit that works under the Department of Vehicle Technologies programs, Department of Energy. And the work that we do is all associated with advanced and alternative fuels and the vehicles that use them. So it's exciting. It's the most exciting time to be involved with transportation. So I am honored to be at the helm of the Clean Cities at this point in the future. I do this work for my children, and that's the truth. That's why I came to the city, and that's why I took this job. I do it alongside of my daughter, who is a soil scientist and works on carbon sequestration. I do it with my son, who works with critical social justice, although it did seem like he did a lot of rock climbing this last summer, so that's part of it, right? Work-life balance. I do this work for your children and your grandchildren and for all of you, so we can imagine a brighter future and that we understand what future is coming towards us, because it is coming. And what we do and all the work that we do, it's actually good news, and that's the exciting thing. I think that was a perfect cue. It is all good news. Now is the time for good news. Fantastic. Are we gonna get 12 bongs on that one too? It's like ding ding. Oh, here we go. Well, it's fantastic. My timing was perfect. Oh, timing is everything, right? I couldn't have planned it better. So, the work we do, of course, is all good news. It is centric, and I look at this group, it is bipartisan, and it makes common sense. And the work that Clean Cities does is fuel neutral. The work that we do in urban areas and environment is not necessarily transferable to the work that we do in rural environments. And we experienced a lot of interesting and fun opportunity in southern Utah when we lightly launched our electric shuttle. It was really well received, and we were excited to see the work that we're doing kind of evolve and unfold with the national parks. We are listening to those voices, and we hope to provide the fuels and the vehicles that are most appropriate for the areas that we work in. We all know that we all know that we are living in a carbon-constrained world, and the governor's declaration is a commitment to better understand our transportation sector. It makes it so cheerful to give you these statistics that in Utah, roughly 50% of the pollution in our state comes from transportation, and 50% of that transportation contribution comes from medium and heavy duty vehicles. And so we have a lot of work to do in that transportation sector piece. And further, we all need to understand the fact that logistically, a lot of medium and heavy duty vehicles are traveling in our state. We are the crossroads of the West. Oh my goodness. I'm going to keep going. We are working together, we are adapting, and we are preparing for change. That's what we must need to do now. We must learn to adapt for the change. Academics, scientists, leaders from your cities, your elected legislators on both the state and federal level, industry leaders, and now we are, of course, excited to work with the inland port in the 2021 version of their business plan and the work that they are doing. Utah is a leader in academics, in science, in the energy industry, and in real road deployment. The vehicles you see here are on our Utah roads. It's exciting to see that we are working with renewable methane, renewable natural gas, refuse haulers, electric vehicles. That is a renewable natural gas truck. And I actually had one of our panelists say, "Well, what does renewable natural gas mean?" It means it's not a fossil fuel based source. It comes from agribusiness. It comes from water waste treatment. It's a methane capture. So we're really excited that in Utah, all of our transportation is fueled by renewable sources. So I want to draw your attention to the Salt Lake Tribune that had a great article on the Smithfield farm down in Milford County that is doing a methane capture piece. Wow, seems so quiet now. So we are doing groundbreaking work around renewables, electrification, and innovation, and using some of the most innovative technologies around hydrogen in the nation. And that's happening in Utah. And so that's very exciting to see that Utah is leading out with hydrogen technologies. We are actually doing the projects. We are planning for the vehicles. We are making this work. We are watching our nation's leaders use renewables. And these renewables are coming from our methane capture projects in Utah and across the nation. UPS, Matheson Trucking, and others are using Utah's renewable fuels, and they are driving in Utah on renewable fuels using our superstations that are across our state. We intend to have our superstations across the country, and it begins in our state, and we are connecting our regional states today. And in a final statement before I introduce our illustrious speakers, we are preparing to be adaptable, resilient, and to move to better strategies for clean energy and transportation by using advanced fuels and infrastructure in Utah, made in Utah, wisely used in Utah, and throughout our region. We are standing on a common platform. We are here to better understand the cost-effective and measurable impact solutions to emissions. We are all committed to innovative solutions, and Utah has shown that we are leading out. We have the solutions with agricultural and municipal waste, methane capture, renewable electric, hydrogen, and biofuels. 53% of our nation's renewable natural gas is moving our transportation today, so that's an exciting opportunity for us to embrace. We are uniquely positioned in Utah to address these challenges that we are facing. We are a state that is proud of our independence and our interdependence. We are the state of industry. We are the beehive state. We have a long and noble history of resiliency and working together. And with that, let us give a warm welcome to today's event and our great weather, and to our speakers, who will begin with Tom Carter, and then followed by Kim Frost, Matt Sybil, Julie Snowball, Jack Hedge, and we will follow up with Debbie Lyons, and I will make a more formal introduction of these great folks when it comes their turn to speak. So we will begin the 13th Annual Alternative Fuels Declaration Month, which amplifies opportunities by addressing the real and perceived barriers to using abundant, affordable, and Utah-based clean fuels. Awareness is the most urgent call to bring action and real deployment of zero-emission vehicles to Utah's transportation sector. We are delighted to have this lineup of speakers. Thank you all for being here. We'll begin with Tom Carter, who is the Executive Director of the Office of Energy Development. Tom will read the declaration on behalf of Governor Cox. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
I guess thanks to all those bongs, I can officially say good afternoon. It's good to be here with you all today. I'm going to share a few thoughts and then get to the declaration. First things first, I do bring the greetings of the governor. He cares deeply about this issue and wishes that he could be here with you today, but as you know, his schedule is garbage all the time and can't attend a lot of things he wants to attend to. And so I get to go to some of the fun things, and I appreciate that. It's good to be here at this event today. I've been to this event a number of times, but wearing a different hat, and it's good to be here at this event with this perspective. The last 10 months in this job has provided me a new perspective, and I see things differently from an energy development side as outside of the air quality side. And I'm glad that Kim Frost is here to provide that perspective. But it's important for us to look at these issues through as many lenses as possible so that we can provide opportunities and solutions for the people of Utah. As we know, Utah is an all-of-the-above energy state. It means we seek after affordable, reliable, durable, and cleaner energy for our people. Now, oftentimes we get trapped in thinking of all of the above energy as it relates to our electricity generation or our home heating, but that's not the case. We are an all of the above energy state as it relates to all of our energy. And that's why today's event is so important, because it allows us to reaffirm our commitment to all of the above energy as it relates to our transportation sector. So we're not just thinking about our current mode of fueling our vehicles, but the alternative to what is on the road today, empowering the future, and engaging in a process that will put us in a position to be successful for the people of Utah. I loved what Tammy said. I love how she does this work for her children, for our grandchildren, for the people of Utah, because that's important. Alternative fuels provide a clean future for all of us. I look out here and I see the beginnings of an inversion today. Today's the first day of inversion season, and we've got one. And so we have to be constantly thinking about ways to reduce our emissions into these inversions, and alternative fuels do that. It's additionally, diversity to our fuels provides us with security, it enables innovation, and provides us with a pathway forward for all the people of Utah. I want to recognize the great leaders that are here. Tammy's mentioned them. Of course, I want to thank Tammy for all of her leadership, her partnership, and her friendship. Kim, of course, it's good to see UCare here. UCare, I have a special place in my heart for UCare. I'm always going to say nice things about UCare. I enjoyed my 4 years at UCare. And I also want to mention the commitment that the state has to the EV Zion project. There are Wasatch Front solutions, and there are off the Wasatch Front rural Utah solutions. And one of the benefits that we have and that Utah Clean Cities has been doing is getting off the Wasatch Front and talking to people. Governor Cox believes you cannot write policy for the state of Utah sitting in your desk in Salt Lake City, and it's been my pleasure to sit with Tammy in Kanab talking to the leaders down there to find out exactly what they can do for that process and project. Additionally, I just want to say, I meant to mention this is the early offset of this. I drove a propane car for almost 2 years. It was great. It was cheaper. It was awesome. I loved it. So while people think, oh, some of these things are just happening in the future, no, it's real. It's great. I also want to point people back to a phenomenal event that happened right here at the Capitol about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, where we talked about specifically hydrogen and how hydrogen vehicles are the wave of the future, and how the opportunities that we have to be, to use Representative Ballard's words, a crossroads for the West for hydrogen here. I think it's important to think about that and to see what the role our state can play. That was a great event. I wish I could have been there. I had other duties that was assigned by the governor, but we had a great turnout. Do me a favor, look back at what was discussed at that event, because that shows the way the state is moving forward and leaning forward with that. Finally, I just want to say this. The governor consistently reminds us that if we do development prior to infrastructure, we fail. And so we need to be consistently looking at infrastructure before development. And as an administration, we have a commitment to infrastructure. We're constantly talking about infrastructure. We're constantly finding ways to engage in a planning process for infrastructure. So as we know that electricity is part of our alternative fuels, please take a moment. We published our plan for EV infrastructure this last June to try and electrify our entire state and provide the people to eliminate their own range anxiety as they move out of as they move out of gas-powered vehicles and into electric vehicles. We're looking at infrastructure as a solution for all of these things. With that, those are my thoughts. It's great to be here with you. I'm going to read this declaration from the governor and hope you enjoy the remainder of today and the fall. So, from the desk of the governor, declaration. Whereas, November marks the 13th Alternative Fuels Awareness Month, which continues to raise public awareness and encourage adoption of clean transportation choices in Utah to reduce pollution and improve air quality. Whereas, we support the Western Governors Association's Electric Vehicle Roadmap Initiative, providing a coordinated effort between 9 Western states to explore electric vehicle adoption and infrastructure deployment throughout the West. Whereas, manufacturers currently offer more than 850 models of alternative fuel vehicles, including hybrid, plug-in hybrid, battery electric, ethanol, compressed natural gas, liquefied natural gas, and propane to provide state-of-the-art, road-ready options for light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicle classes. Whereas, the emerging portfolio of advanced fuel vehicles that operate on Utah-produced sources continue to ensure our energy security with growing numbers of renewable options for electric, propane, biodiesel, compressed natural gas, and from agriculture and municipal waste. Whereas, the state of Utah, working collaboratively with the United States Department of Energy, the United States Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration, and the Utah Clean Cities Coalition, continues to build transportation systems that will meet future needs through Utah's existing alternative fuel corridor, offering 870 alternative fueling sites along major interstate corridors. Whereas the Rev West initiative, involving 8 Intermountain West governors, has grown into a Utah-led Core West project and is now recognized as a national rural model for building electric vehicle infrastructure throughout rural gateway communities, national parks, and scenic byways. And whereas we applaud Southern Utah leaders who have worked tirelessly to create smart mobility systems in gateway communities, including EV Zion electric shuttle pilot and the commitment to Zion National Park to electrify all business busing services to the park. Now, therefore, I, Spencer J. Cox, Governor of the State of Utah, do hereby declare November 2021 as Alternative Fuel Awareness Month in Utah. Signed, Spencer J. Cox, Governor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tom. That was excellent. What a great way to capture what we're doing in Utah. And by starting by saying that the governor's agenda was garbage. Well, we're going to take that garbage and we're going to turn it into energy. So that's exactly what we're doing. And I appreciate it. I appreciate Tom did come down to Kanab, Utah, and look at a rural community and look at our EV Zion initiative. And that was really exciting to have him lean in and listen to some of the options we have down there, which is coincidentally making a new water waste treatment plant that will capture methane. And from that methane, we can turn it into electricity, and we can also turn it into hydrogen. So we're excited. I mean, we can do that we can make a small, scalable energy plant in southern Utah. So, and we can do that everywhere. So again, thank you, Tom, for coming down and being part of that. And again, we are taking our waste and turning it into energy, and that's exciting. So let's keep moving on with our exciting agenda today. So up next, we have Kim Frost. Kim Frost is the new director of UCare, and we're so excited to have her here today. We appreciate her new and innovative work with clean air and advocacy, which of course includes transportation. We look forward to presenting some of our advanced transportation initiatives this month at the UCare Partners Meeting on the 18th. So we're so honored to be able to do that. Give a warm welcome to Kim Frost with UCare. Thank you. And let me just wipe this down real quick.
Wipe down.
I'm going to do a quick wipe down. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's so nice to be here. Tammy, thank you for the invitation to join Utah Clean Cities. And thank you to Governor Cox and the Office of Energy Development for their leadership in the field of alternative fuels. It's exciting to come together and hear more about the future of alternative fuels and the innovative projects that are happening across the state. As Tammy mentioned, I'm Kim Frost, the Executive Director of UCare, which is the Utah Clean Air Partnership. UCare is a statewide clean air organization created to make it easier for individuals, businesses, and communities to make small changes to improve Utah's air. Every small change adds to a collective bigger step towards better health, better economy, and better overall quality of life for all of us. Some actions are as simple as carpooling to work, and some require, like today, a bigger vision. About half of our air pollution comes from mobile sources. Emissions from gasoline and diesel vehicles are a major source of our pollution. And while vehicles and gasoline have gotten much cleaner in recent years, we know that we also need to make alternative fuel vehicles an easy and attractive alternative choice for Utah residents. One of the ways that Utah has been committed to seeking less pollution transportation methods has been to incentivize residents to consider driving as an alternative fuel vehicle. The state, as well as cities and counties, have also provided an example to businesses and individuals by changing fleets to alternative fuels. This started more than a decade ago, and we see our government entities continuing to make significant investments in alternative fuel fleet conversions. In addition, UCARE has a strong partnership with the Division of Air Quality, and we applaud the agency for administering the Clean Fuels Program, which offers a variety of funding mechanisms, including grants, loans, and tax credits for individuals, businesses, and local governments to purchase or convert vehicles that use clean alternative fuels to help reduce our emissions. Because the transportation sector accounts for a majority of our emissions, using alternative fuel vehicles such as electric, RNG, and hybrids for transportation has the potential to be incredibly beneficial in our effort to improve Utah's air. We all want to be good stewards of our environment, and especially our airshed here in Utah. And programs like these have the potential to positively impact our air for many years to come, leaving it in an even better position for, as Tammy and Tom have both mentioned, our children and our grandchildren. Thank you again for the opportunity to celebrate Alternative Fuels Month and for carrying forward the message year-round. Thank you.
Commuter rail typically is like front runner. There's a big heavy diesel locomotive that pulls or pushes other rail cars, and it can be loud and it's fueled with diesel, so the issues with diesel. We're building a train that it may look and kind of feel like a regular train, especially to our customers. The seats look the same and everything about it is the same. The paint looks the same, but it's quiet and has absolutely zero emission. The only byproduct from this train is it produces water, and so it runs off of hydrogen. There's a hydrogen fuel cell which takes pressurized hydrogen, puts it through a catalyst, and creates energy, and that's the energy we use to run that train, or will be running that train. It's going to debut in 2023, and it's going to be the very first commuter train in the country to run off hydrogen. So that's really exciting for us. And again, this is technology that's available here today and ready to go. We have another project that will be fueled a little bit differently, although again, you can generate the electricity with hydrogen. But so let me orient you. So TRAX, the light rail system here along the Wasatch Front, or at least in Salt Lake County, it generates electricity, or gets its electricity from overhead wires, the catenary wires, and that powers the train. And that's very clean and very efficient and so forth. We're developing a train actually in several different modes, light rail and then back to commuter rail. It runs off of batteries. And so it can run up, just like, I don't know, that Tesla might have a little bit longer range, but our battery trains can run about 300 miles on a single charge. And so you have to do, or you don't have to do very much, if any, overhead catenary anymore. You can do select areas, and UTA has a program to modernize FrontRunner, and we're excited about that because instead of actually having to string a bunch of wire, they can do very select areas and then run technology that uses advanced either hydrogen or advanced batteries. So there's a couple evolutions in transportation. Like you've heard, transportation is kind of the single largest contributor to our air quality issues, and so we're helping to move the needle in transportation, and would love if anybody wants to come out and visit our brand new facility. It just opened in the middle of 2019. We're just west of us here, so happy to be here, and thanks again for the invite, Tammy.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Tammy, and all the things that you're doing for Utah Clean Cities here in the state of Utah. I am honored to be here. Clearly, I'm not the person that does the work at Weber State, but hopefully we are providing the avenues for folks who are very innovative at our institution to really move our energy resources forward with the state of Utah. One of the areas that I oversee is our Davis campus. And at our Davis campus, it's just off 193. We are right out the south gate of Hill Air Force Base. We sit on about 110 acres. And we have a solar field, and we are completely supported with our energy, with our solar farm that we have there. We're also fortunate enough to have in that space or on that campus our automotive program. We have a new building that is our computer engineering and automotive program. And we are excited that that whole program is here. We have a lot of out-of-state students that come to Weber State because this bachelor's degree in automotive is the only one of its kind in the Western United States, and so we're pretty proud of that. But we also have, like I mentioned, really innovative folks that support these initiatives. And Scott Hadzik and Jessica Slatter, Jessica's an advisor and also faculty member, and they both work tirelessly to help improve what we're doing at Weber State to move this forward in the state. One of the things Scott did, because sustainability is such a top priority for Weber State, and Tammy mentioned the work of one of our faculty members, John Kelly, who's been at Weber for many years. We are dedicated to implementing several sustainability efforts, not just with our solar farm, but also with our energy. And one of the projects on our main campus, or in our Ogden campus, is a new rapid bus transit system that's in partnership with Ogden City and with UTA, where they are putting electric buses through the middle of campus that will actually circle around the community and move people from the front runner station up to the university, to the hospital, and through the primary areas. So that's a really great project. But in keeping with that, Scott Hadzik is on the front line, and he works very tirelessly to promote electric vehicles and has acquired funding from strategic workforce investment monies from the legislature to build, I think on 2 separate occasions, to build curriculum that he has rolled out with our tech college partners and all of the school districts, or with 14 school districts in the state, and is working on a $6 million proposal with the Build Back Better funding to roll that curriculum out to the entire state to help train service technicians to be able to service these electric vehicles. And it's very innovative. He does really great work, and the efforts in his automotive program, that they have really moved the needle. And Scott, we say this at Weber State, and when we introduce Scott, we call him, he's kind of a big deal. So he is kind of a big deal. And again, they're also really excited about the work, and we're excited to fully support the governor's alternative fuel initiative and support this month, and Tammy and your work. And we look forward to becoming, actually we are working to become carbon neutral. The goal was by 2050 as a university. It looks like we're about 10 years ahead of that, so we are anxious to be a carbon neutral campus or university, all of our campuses, by the year 2020 or 2040. So hopefully we can even shorten that time frame. So we're excited for that work to continue. So thanks for having us.
That movement of goods between the West Coast and the Midwest is really the lifeblood of the U.S. economy. And it flows through here in a greater proportion than anywhere else in the nation. That 25% of truck moves through Utah is double the national average. So we are impacted and burdened by the movement of trucks through the state. And so everything that we can do to advance the switch to cleaner fuels and cleaner goods movement is something the Port Authority is heavily involved in and promoting well into the future. It doesn't matter what the fuel's choice is from our standpoint. We're agnostic, right? It's about building these superstations so that whatever technologies are deployed, whatever technologies are developed, can be deployed here in this state so that we can benefit from them. The trucks that move through here need service. They need to be maintained. They need to be operated on and fixed when they're coming through here. So programs like what Weber State is doing is critical to that definition of changing and transitioning to advanced fuels and alternative fuels. And the Port Authority is proud to be part of that. The American Trucking Association estimates that by 2030, in just 8 years, over 30% of the trucks on the roads in the United States will be running on some form of alternative fuels. Utah needs to be prepared for that. We need to have the infrastructure in place to support that deployment. We need to have programs in place to train workers to work on those trucks and to work on those fuel supply stations and things like that. And we need to be at the forefront of making that transition and making that changeover. And the Port Authority is committed to doing that. So we're very encouraged by this declaration. We thank the governor for doing that. And we appreciate being part of Clean Cities and being part of this move to advance fuels and alternative fuels in the United States. Thank you very much.
I'm happy to be participating in this Alternative Fuels Awareness Month and highlight the importance of advancing clean technologies in our transportation. We know, we've talked about how clean transportation is critical to improving air quality, especially locally here in the Wasatch Front. It's been discussed how transportation contributes about 50% of the problem, of our air quality problem. On-road transportation also contributes significantly to greenhouse gas emissions in Salt Lake City, and so we focus a lot on reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It's important that we move toward a future of renewable emission-free energy in all sectors. We're facing an urgent need to reduce global emissions to slow the harmful impacts of climate change that we're seeing today. The 26th Annual UN Conference on Climate Change, COP26, is currently being held, it was kicked off this week, in Glasgow to address the same issues and calls on government leaders, business leaders, and everyone to participate in climate action. As I mentioned, climate change is impacting us locally. Climate change has increased local droughts and heat and fires, all of which add air pollution to our airshed. It's also revealing drastic social inequities in our community. Our climate positive goals prioritize the transition to clean renewable energy and shrink our community's carbon footprint. Our city leaders have adopted goals to achieve 100% net renewable electricity for our community by 2030, and also to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions 80% by 2040. We've made exciting progress on these goals. The 80 megawatt Electron solar project broke ground last month and will help Salt Lake City transition to renewable energy, supplying almost 90% of our municipal electricity needs. And that's expected to come online in 2023. The Community Renewable Energy Program has also made exciting progress to move Salt Lake City and nearly a dozen other communities in Utah to net 100% renewable electricity. So these renewable energy programs will help make the electrified transportation sector even cleaner. We're focused on using clean fuels and electrifying transportation in our own fleet and in our community. All of our waste and recycling trucks are either clean diesel or CNG, and the all-electric waste and recycling trucks are hitting the market now, and we're watching how those perform, and we're excited to incorporate those into our fleet as soon as possible. In our entire fleet, we have 255 hybrid vehicles, including 110 of those which are used by our police force. We have 33 all-electric vehicles and over 200 cleaner heavy-duty vehicles. But that's still not enough. Last December, Salt Lake City Council and Mayor Mendenhall passed the Electrified Transportation Joint Resolution, which lays out very aggressive goals for electrifying our own fleet even quicker, from passenger vehicles to pickup trucks and heavy-duty vehicles when they become available. We're committed to supporting all of our partners here that have been on the stand today and here in the audience. We want to work with you to electrify our public transportation and public and non-governmental fleets. And we're committed to exploring policy and programs that encourage and incentivize our community members, our residents, to choose electric vehicles. I want to thank everyone for this opportunity to focus on the transportation sector in cleaning up our air and also reducing greenhouse gas emissions and addressing climate change.
We are moving to advanced and alternative fuel vehicles. We are fuel agnostic, fuel neutral. Utah Clean Cities has always been. It's hard not to pick a favorite sometimes because you see it work best in certain communities, but all fuels are on the table. We work with 12 alternative fuels. Let's use them. Let's advance them. Let's rock and roll and move forward with it. We must agree that the cleanest fuels we have today are the ones we use until we are fully prepared to move to the next, and move we must.